hallway. Cameras catch things we weren't meant to see. A quiet parking lot, the hum of cheap lights, a hallway that looks safe until it isn't, an elevator that won't close, and then someone is gone. It starts normal, nothing to fear, nothing to notice, and ends as the darkest footage people still argue about years later. Keep watching. Stay with me, because at the bottom, it isn't just scary, it feels wrong. This is an iceberg. Layers. Surface equals clips you've seen. The viral ones. The ones your friends sent at 2 a.m. Below, charred tapes that were buried, blurred, or lost. The stuff people tried to forget. We go down, tier by tier. No lectures, no safe distance. I'll show you rooms that look harmless until the frame freezes. Streets that seem fine until a car stops and a door opens. Small details first, heavier things later. If at any point it feels like too much, good. That means it's working. By the time we reach the bottom, you'll understand why some footage never should have been saved, and why it was. One, Elisa Lam, elevator, 2013. A hotel elevator, ceiling camera, harsh light on dull metal. She steps in, presses a row of buttons, then waits. The doors don't close. She leans out into the hallway, then back in again, like she's testing the air. Her hands move in odd shapes, fingers spread, wrists turning, as if she's talking to someone who isn't there. She hides in the corner, then walks out, then in again. The doors stay open, and then she's gone. No exit caught clean, just gone. Weeks later, they find her on the roof, inside a water tank. No gore here, no details like that, just the cold fact that guests had been using that water while the city tried to figure out why the pressure felt off. People still argue about the tape. Some say it's mental health. Some say it's something else. Watch it long enough, and the camera starts to feel like a witness that won't talk. You don't get answers. Only the feeling that the elevator knew more than it showed. That was a quiet hallway with no one to stop it. The next tape put the world in the room and forced a league to act. 2. Ray Rice, elevator assault, 2014. Casino corridor. Security cam sees a couple walk into the elevator, doors sliding shut like a lid. Inside that small box, the mood turns fast. A shove, a swing, a body hits metal, and then the floor. No soundtrack, just the cold view from above, while the doors open again to a bright hallway that doesn't match what happened inside. The camera outside watches him drag her partway across the threshold, then pull her back in. It feels clinical, flat, which makes it worse. The machine records. It doesn't care. When that footage reached the public, everything changed in hours. Headlines, press calls, league statements, contracts torn up. It wasn't rumor anymore. It wasn't alleged. It was right there, frame by frame, in a place built on lights and luck. The power of a single angle, a single lens, forcing people who didn't want to look. These are the surface clips, the ones everyone saw. Down a tier, the cameras keep rolling when help never comes. 3. Kareem Hunt, hotel hallway, 2018. A quiet hotel corridor, neutral carpet, bright ceiling lights, the kind of place where nothing is supposed to happen. Hunt steps out of a room with others around him, and the argument that started behind a door spills into the hallway. There's a shove, another surge, and then the moment that freezes a career. He drives forward, she goes down, and what looked like a private dispute turns into evidence the whole country sees. The camera never blinks. It doesn't explain or defend. It just holds the frame while the story changes outside of it. Practice cancelled, statements drafted, a release announced, and a league forced to respond because the tape exists. You think you know what an elevator camera can do to a career. Now watch what a single stride can do to a stranger at the edge of a bridge. 4. Putney Bridge Jogger, 2017. Early morning in London. The walkway is calm, buses sliding past with that heavy diesel hush. A jogger comes up fast behind a woman and, with one hard shove, knocks her into the path of a double-decker that misses her by inches only because the driver swerves at the last possible second. The jogger keeps running. No pause, no look back. The clip goes everywhere. People freeze the frames, zoom the face, argue about gait and shoes and timing. Yet the search stalls, then fades, and the tape becomes something colder. A near death on a normal day with no one to answer for it. These are the seen it clips. Viral, replayed, argued to death. Down a layer, the cameras don't just catch the hit. They catch the moment someone never comes back. 5. Norco liquor store owner, 2022. Pre-dawn in Riverside County, a masked man rushes in with a rifle held high, shouting before his feet even clear the mat. Behind the counter, the owner doesn't flinch. He brings up a shotgun and fires once. The suspect spins and bolts for the door, yelling that his arm is gone, while the getaway car jerks into reverse and peels out of the lot. The outside camera catches the panic. The scramble, the shouting, the brake lights flaring red in the dark. News ran the footage all day because it was so blunt. One blast, a retreat, and a trail that ends at a hospital. That was a fast decision and a faster exit. The next one isn't fast at all. The machine keeps moving even when everyone wants it to stop. 6. China escalator collapse, 2015. A mother rides up with her toddler, the top plate shining like every other mall floor. She steps forward, feels the edge give way, and in one desperate motion pushes the child into the arms waiting ahead, while the panel sinks under her feet. The escalator hum doesn't change. People shout, reach, pull, but the mechanism keeps turning, indifferent to the noise above it. The clip went everywhere because the moment is so clear. The save, the slip, the awful stillness of a machine that doesn't care what just happened. Reports later said maintenance had been done and a cover wasn't secured, which is why a normal Sunday became a nightmare. That was an accident with a single, unforgiving flaw. Next up, danger that walks in on purpose. 7. Florida mom fights kidnapper, 2016. Dollar General, Hernando, Florida. A man abandons his cart, cuts toward a mother and her 13-year-old, and clamps onto the girl's arm. The pull is sudden and hard, straight for the exit, but the mom locks on and won't let go. She drags back. He yanks forward, the aisles blur, and for a few seconds, the whole store is a tug-of-war over a child. Outside, an off-duty deputy spots the struggle and forces the suspect to the ground. The surveillance video did the rest. Clear faces, clear hands, no spin. Police arrested Craig Bonello. The clip ran everywhere. That was a fight with a witness that never blinks. The next grab happens on the street, and the rescue is just as fast. 8. Coney Island attempted child abduction. Quick note on accuracy. The widely reported Coney Island clip is from July 2025, not 2021. A man in black lifts a 6-year-old off the sidewalk and sprints. The parents chase, close the distance, and he throws the boy back at them before he's caught. The street cams and bystander video line up. The grab, the run, the return, all in seconds. WABC/ABC7NY published the footage and follow-ups. Multiple outlets mirrored it. 9. NYC subway platform shove. 2025. A weekday platform in Manhattan. People stare into the tunnel, checking clocks, doing what commuters do when they've stopped listening to the noise around them. Then a shove comes from nowhere. A man hits the rails and scrambles, hands sliding on gravel, while others lean over the edge and reach. The camera angle is terrible in the way real footage is terrible. Fixed, unforgiving, a few seconds of panic that feel much longer. Police later release the clip. The suspect is hunted down. The victim survives, but barely. It's the kind of tape you watch once because you need to understand the headline. Then you never want to see again. That's A Stranger's Hands and One Hard Push. The next tape is quieter. Just a driveway, a truck, and a neighbor who knows what he's seeing isn't right. 10. Chris Watts, Neighbor's Camera. 2018. Dawnlight over a Colorado cul-de-sac. A pickup backs toward the garage. The neighbor's camera catches small movements that look like nothing until you know the story. Multiple trips to the truck, something lifted, something set down. The rhythm of a man who wants to finish before anyone notices. Minutes later, he's in the neighbor's living room with police, watching himself on that same screen, talking too much, looking anywhere but at the TV. When the district attorney releases the files, the public sees what the neighbor saw, a normal morning that isn't normal at all. One angle, one lens, enough to crack the certainty in his voice. 11. Naya Rivera, Last Walk to the Dock, 2020. A quiet marina at Lake Peru. Security video shows Naya Rivera parking, taking her son by the hand and walking to the rental counter. No drama, just a normal afternoon on the water. Minutes later, another camera records them, pushing off in a small pontoon and idling away from the dock. Those clips were released by the Ventura County Sheriff's Office and replayed by major outlets. They confirm what everyone kept asking. She was alone with her son, and they left the dock together. Hours later, the boat is found drifting. Her son is aboard. She isn't. The security footage became the anchor for the timeline while search teams combed the lake. 12. Brooklyn $2 million jewelry heist. 2023. Late afternoon in Park Slope, 3 masked men enter Facet's fine jewelry. One buzzes in, the others follow. In seconds, hammers hit glass, trays spill, and the floor glitters with diamonds. The whole thing lasts under a minute, and the camera never looks away. Smash, grab, gone. NYPD and local news ran the surveillance video with the owner describing how fast it unfolded and how much was lost, about $2 million in rings and stones. These are safe clips, clear angles, clean timelines, answers that fit in a headline. The next layer isn't. Tier 2, familiar but darker. 13. Karlesha Freeland, Gaither, Abduction, 2014. A quiet Philadelphia block after dinner. Headlights slide past row houses. Karlesha walks home, hands tucked, The kind of night where you hear your own shoes. A sedan rolls to the curb, and the driver is out before the engine settles. He grabs. She fights. The camera across the street doesn't flinch. She kicks, braces on the door, shatters the rear window, trying to stop the car from taking her. Neighbors step out, then back, not sure what they're seeing until the taillights are already gone. Police push the tape everywhere within hours. The clip becomes the case. Later, more images. Her ATM card used in Maryland. A man on store cameras. A timeline tightening by the minute. She's found alive in Jessup. The arrest is made. The video that started as a nightmare becomes proof that moves the search forward. 14. Merced family kidnapping. 2022. A Central Valley office with blinds half open to the heat. Security video shows a man in a hoodie and mask leading a couple out at gunpoint. The mother carries their 8-month-old. The child's uncle follows. It's broad daylight and horribly calm. No shouting on the feed, just hands raised and a door closing behind them. Deputies release the footage and stills. The suspect's truck, the ATM ping, every breadcrumb they can push to the public. Then the updates get worse. A person of interest in custody, a burned-out vehicle, and finally, the orchard, where the sheriff says what everyone feared. This is the kind of tape you don't play twice, not because it's graphic, but because the quiet makes it heavier. We're leaving the surface. From here on, the cameras don't just witness danger, they mark the last normal moment before everything breaks. 15. Hannah Anderson / James DiMaggio, 2013. Bus stations, gas stations, highway cameras. In the week after the fire at DiMaggio's house, investigators stitched together a route north from the border. Sightings that looked routine until the pattern snapped into focus. The surveillance trail ends in the Idaho backcountry, where an FBI helicopter finds a blue tent and a girl waving her arms. A BC later aired portions of the Bureau's surveillance video and stills from the rescue, showing how the case moved from rumor to coordinates you can drop on a map. That one ends with a helicopter and a hand in the air. The next starts with a jog before sunrise and a vehicle waiting in the dark. 16. Eliza Fletcher, Pre-Dawn Jog, 2022. Memphis, just before sunrise, streetlights, sprinklers, and the hollow quiet of a campus loop. A black GMC Terrain passes once, turns ahead, and waits. When she reaches the corner, the attack is fast. A struggle at the curb, a forced shove into the passenger side, and a door that closes like a lid. The affidavit describes it straight from the surveillance pull. Car approaches, stops, grabs, drives. News outlets ran the frames and the updates as the search widened, then narrowed. It's a clip you remember because it strips away the wrong place, wrong time excuse. She did everything right, and the camera still caught the moment the world tilted. 17. Hostage escape. Door cam, 2023. A roadside gas station in Bass River Township, New Jersey. The door camera catches a woman sprinting barefoot to the counter while a man follows close behind. She gets inside, tells the clerk he's holding her, and they lock the door. On the other side of the glass, he tries the handle and fails. The clip freezes him there, inches away, while a call goes out. Investigators later say she'd been controlled and moved for months across states. The arrest comes the same day. News runs the surveillance frames on loop because the story is all in the picture. A door, a lock, a pause long enough to change everything. 18. Alessandro Jr., Guzman Feliz, Bodega Cameras, 2018. Bronx Summer Night. Street cams and a store camera build the timeline. A teenager running for safety, a group closing in, the frantic move into a small bodega where he tries to hide. The angles are fixed and unforgiving. Entrance, counter, door, each one showing a piece of the chase that New York would replay for months. The case becomes a citywide cry for answers. Prosecutors later show more footage in court to explain how the hunt unfolded and how fast it all was. You don't need graphic frames to understand why people still leave flowers on that corner. The cameras already told everyone what mattered about those last minutes. 19. Missy Bevers, Church Intruder, 2016. Before dawn in Midlothian, Texas, an unknown figure in police-marked tactical gear walks the church halls with a heavy, offbeat gait. The helmet, the vest, the gloves, everything hides shape as the person idles from door to door, taps glass, and breaks a window like they're testing the building rather than robbing it. The footage was released by investigators and pushed by national outlets. It's the kind of clip you watch twice because the walk feels wrong and the calm feels colder than noise. The case remains unsolved. The surveillance is the anchor. Slow steps, a hammer, and a building that should have been empty. 20. Korat Mall Shooter, 2020. Bright lights at Terminal 21 Korat, weekend shoppers, clean floors, music up in the atrium. A soldier moves through the mall with stolen rifles, climbing levels, firing in bursts, while security cameras fix him in place. Escalators, food court, glass railings that reflect the flashes. Outside broadcasts cut in and out, but the story stays clear. An attack that begins at a base and a temple, then pours into a mall until commandos corner him hours later. It becomes the deadliest mass shooting in Thailand. The footage, stills, and live posts trace his path floor to floor. Faces get colder below, and some tapes look staged until they aren't. Tier 3, the ones you only see once. 21. Reyna Nightclub, Istanbul, 2017. New Year's in Ortaköy. Music up, strobe lights, bodies packed shoulder to shoulder. Outside, a man walks toward the entrance with a long gun held tight, moving like he already knows the floor plan. The first shots crack before anyone understands what's happening. Inside, people drop behind tables and try to crawl under the noise. The security cameras don't chase him. They simply catch the entry, the direction, the speed, the fact that the violence started at the door and rolled inward. News ran stills and pulled frames from surveillance in the days after, and investigators tied the attack to ISIS. Weeks later, police named and arrested the suspect after tracking him across the city. You never see everything on the tape, only the cold pieces that prove how quickly a room can turn. 22. Westgate Mall, Nairobi, 2013. A normal Saturday crowd moves through a polished mall, families in food courts, shoppers at glass counters, guards at their posts. Then 4 men step inside with rifles and grenades, and the entire place changes direction. Security cameras catch them crossing open tiles, swinging into stores, pausing at corners, moving to the next floor. Some clips show shoppers sprinting, others show people flattened behind kiosks, while bullets punch through drywall a few feet above their heads. The footage went global, blurred on TV, slower online, because it shows a method more than a moment, room to room, level to level, hour after hour. By the time the siege ends, The building is scarred, and the timeline is carved into video, angles from inside, angles from the car park, and a string of frames no one in the city forgets. 23. Brussels Airport, Zaventem, 2016. Departure hall noise, rolling cases, bright check-in boards. 3 men push luggage trolleys side by side, 1 in a light coat and hat, 2 in dark shirts. It looks like any busy morning until it isn't. Minutes later, 2 of those men detonate in the hall. The third leaves the building and keeps walking. Belgian police push the images everywhere. The still of the man in the hat, the route he took after the blasts, and the airport's cameras become the spine of the manhunt. You don't see everything. You don't need to. The trolleys, the doorway, the exit are enough. 24. Istanbul Ataturk Airport, 2016. Late evening in the international terminal. Security lines bend toward the scanners, and a man with a rifle moves into view at a pace that reads as purpose, not panic. A shootout starts near the X-ray point. He's hit, drops, and an officer closes in, then backs away fast as the belt is spotted. The detonation is brutal and bright. Ceiling tiles fall, and the crowd flips from curiosity to a stampede in seconds. Multiple angles surface in news coverage. The approach, the sprint, the moment the camera shakes when the pressure wave hits the lens. The timeline is stitched from surveillance. Who entered, where they split, where each blast landed, turning a chaotic night into a map investigators can walk room by room. We're past viral clips now. From here, the lenses don't just show what happened, they chart it, minute by minute, until there's nowhere left to run. 25, 7/7 London, CCTV trail on a normal morning, 2005. It starts like any commute. Early trains into the city, backpacks, quiet faces, the soft push through ticket barriers. The cameras pick up 4 men at Luton Station before sunrise, then again arriving at King's Cross a little after 8:20 a.m., moving with the same practiced calm as everyone around them. What comes next is chaos across the network. 3 blasts on the underground, a 4th on a bus, and the search turns back to the lenses that saw the morning before it broke. Investigators stitch the timeline from station to station. Stills are released to the public, the who taking shape from ordinary angles that were never supposed to be dramatic. The power of this trail isn't shock value, it's routine, recorded, becoming evidence. 26. Boston Marathon, Manhunt, The Caps and the Stare, 2013. 3 days after the finish line blasts, the briefing room goes silent as the FBI plays surveillance clips. 2 young men walking Boylston Street with backpacks, one in a dark cap, one in a white cap worn backwards. The request is simple and heavy. Look at these faces. Tell us their names. Do not approach them. Within hours, the images circle the world. Tip lines light up, web traffic to the bureau spikes, and a city that's still bleeding turns into a map of sightings. What makes the footage unforgettable isn't motion or gore. It's the ordinariness of the walk, the way they pass storefronts and spectators like everyone else, and how a single release turns pixels into a pursuit. 27. Sarah Everard, Last Walk, 2021. South London on a cold March night. Street cameras and a passing bus camera become the spine of a timeline. Sarah walking along the South Circular, the hazard lights of a white rental car, and then the number plate that ties the vehicle to a serving officer. detectives piece the route together from thousands of hours of footage. The bus images are the break that turns a missing person search into an arrest within days. You don't see the whole crime. You see the last ordinary minutes and the car that shouldn't have been there, which is enough to change everything. 28. Charlie Hebdo manhunt. Gas station stop. 2015. The Paris gunmen flee north. Hours later, they walk into a petrol station near Villers-Cotterêts, and the CCTV grabs what the city needs: faces, clothing, the car, the direction of travel. Those frames go everywhere: on television, across social feeds, in briefing rooms, while police close roads and push into the forests near Longpont. The video doesn't show an arrest. It shows a waypoint that turns a panic into a map, and the search moves from rumor to a line on the N2 toward Damartin-en-Goël. We're past viral. Now it feels like surveillance as fate. Tier 4. Manhunt Eyes. 29. Kim Jong-nam, Airport VX Attack, 2017. Kuala Lumpur International Airport looks like any other morning. Trolleys rolling, arrivals boards blinking, people drifting toward gates. Kim Jong-nam steps into the hall. A woman in a light top comes up from behind and wipes both hands across his face like it's a prank, then walks away. He hesitates, touches his eyes, and heads to the desk for help. Minutes later, he's led toward a clinic, already unsteady. Malaysian investigators later say the toxin was VX. Courtroom testimony put the dose at more than lethal. You don't need the audio to feel how fast a normal hallway turned into a crime scene. 2 angles, a wipe, a man trying to stay upright. That was a hit in plain sight. The next one is a door that closes on a journalist and never opens for him again. 30. Jamal Khashoggi. Entry. 2018. Early afternoon in Istanbul. Outside the Saudi consulate, a street camera watches traffic, a few pedestrians, and a man in a dark blazer arriving with paperwork to collect. The footage released to Turkish media shows him walking through the main entrance at 1:14 p.m. He doesn't come back out on any camera, front or rear, no matter how many times investigators run the tapes. That single sequence becomes the anchor of the case. He entered. He didn't exit. Every official explanation after that has to answer the images. 31. Khashoggi body double. Walkout. 2018. Outside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, a man steps through the back door, wearing Jamal Khashoggi's clothes, same blazer, same shirt, same pants, then heads into the city. Later frames show him at a mosque, changing out of the outfit, the disguise folded away like the story it was supposed to sell. Turkish officials said he was a member of the Saudi team, used as a body double to fake an exit that never happened. The release surveillance made the point without commentary. Khashoggi walks in. Someone else walks out. 32. Manchester Arena. Abedi on CCTV. 2017. In the days before the attack, cameras pick up Salman Abedi moving through the city with a large blue suitcase. Wilmslow Road, the centre, the places he lingers while he prepares. Police later released the images and ask anyone who saw the case to come forward. On the night itself, more CCTV shows him near the arena in a black puffer jacket and cap, the backpack on his shoulder, the timeline shrinking to minutes. These are ordinary angles, a street corner, a concourse, a doorway. But they became the spine of the investigation. A man, a route, and a bag you can't forget once you've seen it. 33. Manchester Arena, Recon days before, 2017. Days before the concert, CCTV catches Salman Abedi inside the venue during a Take That show, pacing by the box office and watching the queues in the foyer, meters from where he'd return 4 nights later. At the inquiry, police also described how he later hid in a CCTV blind spot on the night, emerging in the final minutes before the blast. Ordinary angles, chilling intent. 34. Boston Marathon. The FBI Cut, 2013. 3 days after the bombs, the FBI plays a tight surveillance cut. 2 young men walk in Boylston with backpacks, black cap, white cap turned backwards, and asks the public to name them, not confront them. That official release turns grainy frames into a citywide hunt and breaks the case open within hours. Below this, it's not manhunt, it's design. Tier 5, organized and surgical. 35. Vesberger helicopter heist, Stockholm, 2009. Before dawn, a stolen Bell 206 drops onto the cash depot roof like it's a landing pad, rotors chewing the dark, while a crew smashes through reinforced glass and hauls bags from inside. Police can't scramble their own choppers because decoy explosives have been planted near the hangar. Caltrops on the roads slow patrol cars. By the time sirens stack up outside, the helicopter is lifting off with the money and vanishing into the suburbs. Coverage and retrospectives show the plan in clean beats: roof landing, rapid entry, air escape, with stills and CCTV segments that made the job feel unreal the first time you watch it. 36. Dresden Green Vault, Saxony, 2019. A pre-dawn fire knocks out streetlights and alarms near the Royal Palace, but the museum's surveillance keeps running. 2 figures cut through iron bars slip into the jewel room, and in footage police later release, one of them swings an axe again and again until the display explodes into glass. They grab historic diamond sets, 18th century pieces that matter as art as much as money, and leave the way they came, bars put back to buy a few more minutes. Newsrooms loop the CCTV, the window, the cases, the exits, and the strange quiet you always get from security video while something irreversible happens in frame. 37. Graff Diamonds, London, 2009. 2 men step from a taxi in sharp suits and immaculate prosthetic makeup, faces altered so thoroughly they stare straight into the store's cameras without a second thought. Inside, the guns come out, cabinets empty fast, and a hostage is walked to the door as cover, while the crew switches getaway cars and melts into Mayfair. Police and media push the angles that matter: the disguises built by a professional makeup artist, the speed of the grab, and, later, the convictions that confirm just how deliberate the performance was. Archival pieces and broadcast segments include security footage and bystander video of the escape, the kind of evidence that turns a movie-style job into timelines and charges. 38. Seattle $2 million smash and grab, 2025. Midday in West Seattle, 4 masked thieves hit Menashe and Sons in a burst that lasts about a minute and a half. They smash the locked glass door, sweep 6 display cases, and use bear spray and a stun device to keep staff back. One case holds roughly $750,000 in Rolexes. Another, an emerald necklace tagged at $125,000. Then they're gone. The store shutters, glass everywhere, and the surveillance reels loop on news sites because the job is so fast it feels rehearsed. 39. Modesto car ram heist, 2025. A red car punches through the front doors of a Standiford Avenue jeweler, and a wave of masked suspects pours in, dozens on the tape, emptying cases while alarms yell into the parking lot. The entry is the tactic. Once the glass and frame are out of the way, the rest is speed and numbers. Police later announce arrests tied to the crash and grab, but the video is what sticks. How fast a storefront turns into a hallway and how many hands it takes to clear a room. 40. Canoga Park, Power Tool. Break-in, 2025. Quiet strip mall on Sherman Way. Roof entry, wires yanked, cameras blinded, and then the real work starts in back, cutting a hole through a safe and popping interior cases with power tools. By morning, the counters look untouched from the front. But the owner's tour tells the story. A neat hole, a drained safe, about $400,000 gone. Broadcasts run the surveillance snippets and the owner's quotes because the sound of grinders in a closed shop says everything about planning and time. 41. Anaheim mob attempt. Owner fights back, 2025. Evening at Alameda Jewelry in Anaheim. Cars roll up at once, doors fly open, and more than a dozen masked people rush the entrance with sledgehammers and pickaxes. The glass starts to go, and the owner pulls a handgun, fires a single warning shot, and the whole crowd scatters back to the cars in seconds. The angle is classic shop cam, fixed, bright, unforgiving. You see the first blows, the flinch, the decision, and then brake lights as the lot empties out. Police later say the group fled. The owner says he shot to scare, to protect staff. Local news ran the surveillance over and over because the mob looked unstoppable until it wasn't. 42. Downtown LA tunnel burglary. The wall wasn't a wall. 2025. On a Sunday night in the Broadway Jewelry District, thieves spent hours behind a closed storefront, tunneling through thick masonry from the vacant space next door until the hole opened into love jewels. They killed alarms and cameras, worked the safes, and slipped back the way they came. By morning, the shop looked normal from the front, but inside, 2 big safes were empty, and a jagged opening in the wall told the real story. Losses were first called at least $10 million, then possibly closer to $20 million. The FBI joined LAPD on the case. Coverage showed the breach, the dust, and even security audio of drilling picked up during the night. It wasn't loud smash and grab. It was patience, concrete, and a plan that treated a wall like paper. Clean work above. The bottom tier isn't clean. Tier 6. Bottom of the tape. 43. Elisa Lam. The feeling after the first watch. It's just an elevator and a young woman waiting for doors that don't close, her hands drawing shapes you can't name, and a hallway that never answers back. You finish the clip and the room feels colder. Not because you learned anything new, but because the camera refuses to explain what it saw. It only leaves you with the weight of that last empty frame. Beat. We're not here for theories, only the residue the tape leaves behind. 44. Missy Bevers. The gate. Before dawn, in a church that should be silent, a figure in police gear drifts down the hallway, pausing to test doors, to tap glass, to move with a slow, heavy rhythm that doesn't look like a break-in so much as someone killing time. The footage is clean enough to study and useless for certainty. You watch the stance, the swing of the hammer, the short steps under the vest, and you come away knowing only that whoever is under that armor understands how to be looked at without being known. 45. Luca Magnotta, Building CCTV, 2012. A narrow lobby camera in Montreal watches two men enter late at night. Junlin in a yellow t-shirt and cap, Luca Magnotta beside him. They walk in like any neighbors would. No rush, no noise. Then the door swings shut and the hallway is empty again. At trial, jurors were shown that entry along with hours of building surveillance. The same night, later passes on the stairs, and then Magnotta alone, moving trash bags to the basement and out to the alley. The cameras don't explain, but they fix the order of things. Who went in together, who came out alone. The deeper we went, the less this felt like internet mystery, and the more it felt like we stared at evidence. Rooms, doors, platforms, caught by lenses that never meant to hold this much weight. Cameras don't scream. They don't warn. They just keep time when people can't. If you can handle one more descent, the next iceberg goes lower.